juicy, beautiful, pull apart Scotch fillet steak reverse seared on a kettle grill. Hell yes, sign me up. Check out that. Check out the colour on that. And look at the tenderness. It pulls apart. Now that is a good steak. Let's get to it. Alright, so first we're going to light up our kettle grill, and by far the easiest way to do this is using a charcoal chimney starter and some barbecue briquettes like these Heat Beads Originals I got here. So I'm running a bit low here, but we're going to fill up the chimney, then we're going to put some all natural fire lighters underneath, use your lighter or a butane torch like this one, and we light up those fire lighters underneath. And once they are nice and flamed up, then we're going to set our chimney straight on top and let these coals heat up. And this should take, usually when you've got a full chimney like you should have, this should take you about 15 to 20 minutes to get fully lit. And now we wait. Okay, so we've got our Scotch fillet steaks here. We've got our 4 Monkeys beef rub by Dan Barrett. This is a great all-purpose beef rub. Now we've got the Heat Beads charcoal briquettes that are firing up in the charcoal chimney, ready to put into the kettle grill. Once we've poured them in, I've also got here somewhere a hickory wood chunk that we're going to add just for a nice bit of smoke flavour in there, because we're going to reverse sear these. So let's get them rubbed up and on to the kettle grill. So when using your barbecue rub, you want to just apply a nice, liberal, but even amount on both sides. So once you've placed it down on both sides, then you want to pat rub it in. Not rub it, but pat it down so it settles into the meat. And check out these. Once the pit's up to temperature, we're ready to get these onto our grill. So we're going to pour our fully lit coals into the grill, and I've got a chunk here of hickory wood, which I'm going to add in for a bit of smoke flavour. Then we're going to get our lid on and make sure our damper vents are fully open, and we're placing it to the side of the meat. So we put it down just like this and make sure your damper vents are fully open. Once you've got your grill up to 300 degrees Fahrenheit, which is the perfect low and slow temperature for reverse searing steaks, you grab your 2 steaks, or however many you've got, and you place them down on the opposite side to your little fire. So where the coal and the wood is burning over the other side, we're going to put them as far away from that as possible, because the whole goal here is to cook indirect and let that smoke blow over the steak to impart a nice flavour, nice smoky flavour, and cook it slow. And you, again, make sure your vent's on the side of your meat. So by cooking the steaks indirect, to start with, what you're basically doing is you're slow cooking it until it hits the internal temperature that you desire, and then you're chucking it directly over the coals to sear it off, to get some nice grill marks, to get a nice seal, to get a nice crust and mark, and seals in the juices. So what you want to do is you want to take it out off and sear it direct about 5 degrees Fahrenheit before it's at your desired temperature. So for me, I'm going for a nice medium rare, so that's somewhere between 135 and 140 Fahrenheit. So between 125 and 130 Fahrenheit, I will take them from indirect, and then I'll move them direct over to sear for a minute either side, and that should bring it up to our nice desired temperature for a medium rare, with giving us a nice crust. Now the only way to do that, to make sure, people do the old thumb test or check your hand, or no. Thermometer, whether it's instant read or a classic kitchen meat thermometer, you cannot go wrong, because you will not mess up the steaks if you do it this way correctly. While you wait for that to cook, crack yourself a beer. So it's been about 15 minutes, and you can see they're still quite raw, but they have a nice browning to them, which is them slowly cooking and getting nice and tender and juicy, and our fire's burning nicely. I'll come back and check shortly. So sometimes if you find that the size of the charcoal pile you've done and the heat radius isn't cooking as quickly or is too far away from the meat, you can always just move them in a little bit like we've done here. You can see right here, we've just moved them in slightly. Just moved them from here to here, just to get them a little bit more heat next to the coals. What you do want to do, however, is when you're this close, you do start to get a bit of direct heat. So every few minutes you might want to turn them around and just move your steaks around. That way they're not overheating on one side. If you've got the time, push them back and let them go. If time is on your side and you really want to get the best result for the reverse sear, and you can do that, leave them indirect, let them go as long as they need to go. Your coals won't burn out, you'll be fine. And then when it hits the internal temp, then just sear them off. It's the best way to go. But if you're in a rush, you can move them slightly closer if you still want to do a reverse sear. Just make sure you don't let one side burn or get too hot first, so keep them moving. So after about 25 minutes of low and slow indirect cooking, we're checking with our instant read thermometer, and we're reading between that 125 and 130 Fahrenheit mark, and I reckon we're ready to sear them off. So grab your steaks and chuck them directly over the hot coals, that way they get a nice sear and a nice burn, and just flip them a few times every minute or so to get a nice crust. In just a few minutes time, these steaks are going to be ready to take off. Also, if you feel you need a bit of extra heat because your coals aren't doing the trick, feel free to chuck the lid on. Alright, so these have been going, flipped either side for a few minutes, and these are ready to rest for the next 10 minutes. Whoo! Check these out. These are done. They've rested for 10 minutes to let the juices go back inside and to give us a really nice tender cut. So now we're going to slice and serve. There you have it, folks. That's how you reverse sear a nice juicy steak using a kettle grill, using charcoal, smoking woods to a nice medium rare. And look at that result. I mean, that you can't ask for anything better. Job well done, folks. As always, guys, appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good shit. Until next time, Mark out from Grillmarks Barbecue. Cheers.